The scream sliced through the music. Not a loud scream, just a sharp, strangled gasp behind me, the kind a person makes when their world buckles beneath them. I turned instinctively, my pulse kicking. The company holiday party was a blur of glitter lights, champagne bubbles, and forced cheer, but that sound cut through everything. And it came from me. My own breath froze in my throat as I stared at my phone screen, my thumb trembling over the glowing image, the wrong image, the one that should never have seen the light of day. There, projected by the cursed autoplay of a social media post I'd just been tagged in, was a photo of my wife, Emily, pinned against a wall in the dim back hallway of the office, kissing my best friend and co-worker, Mark. His hand cupping her jaw, her fingers gripping his shirt like they'd been starving for each other. My lungs collapsed. The music from the party spilled around me, laughter, clinking glasses, someone shouting Merry Christmas. But it all warped, muffled, swallowed by ringing in my ears. My legs went numb. My chest trembled with a pressure so violent I wondered if I might faint right there beside the punch bowl. No, this had to be a joke, a prank, a misunderstanding, something. Because the woman in the photo, she wasn't Emily. She couldn't be. Not my wife, the person who kissed my forehead every morning, who held my hand in crowded rooms, who whispered, "I love you" with sleepy conviction every night. The woman who told me Mark was like a brother, who said he was just fun to talk to, who promised that I was the only one she wanted. My mind rebelled, flipping through every memory like tearing pages from a burning book. This had to be some kind of cruel mistake. But the photo didn't care about my disbelief. It stared back, unforgiving, undeniable. And worse, far worse, was the username of the person who posted it. At Carla from HR times 2M. Accidentally uploaded the wrong batch LOL. Delete later. Carly had been taking photos all night, laughing, snapping candids of everyone, couples, co-workers, the decorations Emily and I had helped set up earlier. She must have uploaded everything from her camera roll at once. Everything, including that. A cold sweat broke across my back. My hand clutched the edge of the table for balance. I kept staring, unable to pull my eyes away, my body locked between nausea and rage. Then someone brushed past me. "Hey, James," a voice said cheerfully. "You okay? You look pale." I didn't answer. I couldn't. My throat was strangled shut. My gaze slowly lifted toward the center of the room, toward her. Emily stood by the decorated tree, laughing with two co-workers, her red dress shimmering under warm lights. Her hair was pinned loosely, a few strands falling against her cheek, and she pushed them back with that familiar, graceful gesture that had always softened me. I watched her laugh. I watched her smile. And all I could see was the way her lips had been pressed against my best friend's. I felt something inside me crack, a faint, painful splintering. For a long moment I simply stood there, breath shallow, heart pounding against the cage of my ribs. A strange calm tried to float up inside me, feeble and fragile, trying to rationalize the impossible. Maybe it was old. Maybe it wasn't what it looked like. Maybe it was edited, staged, a mistake, anything. Then my phone buzzed again. Another tag, another photo. This time, Emily and Mark weren't kissing. They were holding hands, her head on his shoulder, his mouth against her hair. This one wasn't in the hallway. It was in the parking lot. Tonight, my vision blurred. The ground tilted. Every instinct told me to look away, to stop breathing, to shut down somehow, but I couldn't. The betrayal pulled me in like a car crash, horrific, hypnotic, devastating. Then something even worse dawned on me. Carly's upload wasn't private, wasn't limited, wasn't restricted. It was public. Anyone could see it. Everyone. The entire company. Which meant anyone in this room could have already seen it. A sudden wave of humiliation hit me, hot, acidic, choking. People might have known before I did. They might have been watching me, waiting, whispering behind their champagne glasses, pitying me, laughing about me. I forced myself to stand straight. My jaw clenched so tightly it hurt. Across the room, Mark stepped into view. Perfect, confident, his suit tailored, his smile easy. He joined Emily, whispering something into her ear. She nudged him playfully. His eyes softened. I felt my fingers curl into fists. The world around me sharpened into vivid, almost cinematic clarity, lights gleaming like shards, music throbbing in my bones, the scent of evergreen garlands hanging heavy in the air. The tension inside me spiraled into something electric, unbearable. I had to talk to her. I had to know. I had to. James! Her voice. Soft. Familiar. Loving. Emily appeared in front of me, concern knitting her brows. She reached for my arm, and I flinched. Her hand froze midday, confusion flickering in her eyes. "What's wrong?" she asked in a low voice. "You look shaken. Did something happen?" I swallowed hard. My tongue felt thick. Did something happen? I repeated, voice cracking. "Yeah, something happened." She blinked, startled. Before I could continue, Mark walked up behind her. Of course he did. His smile faltered when he saw my expression, his posture tightening. Something wary flickered through his eyes, too wary, too fast, too knowing. And that was a moment, that exact second, I knew with absolute, destructive certainty. They weren't innocent. They weren't confused. They weren't clueless. They were afraid, because they knew what I had seen. My grip tightened around my phone until my knuckles went white. "James," Emily murmured, her voice trembling now. "Talk to me. What's going on?" I turned the screen toward them. The photo glowed between us like a lit fuse. Emily's face drained of color. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Mark stiffened, eyes darting around as if searching for an exit. The three of us stood in a small, silent triangle while the party roared on around us. My heartbeat thundered. My breath shook. "You want to explain," I whispered, "or should I start guessing?" Emily swallowed, tears collecting instantly, too fast, like she'd been carrying them for weeks, waiting for this moment to break. "James," she breathed, voice raw. Please, let's go somewhere private." "No," I said sharply. The single syllable cracked like a whip. "We're done with private." Mark stepped forward slightly. "James, listen, this isn't." "Don't." My voice cut through the air like ice. "Don't say a word." He stopped. A muscle in my jaw twitched as I struggled to hold myself together, to stay upright, to not drown in the betrayal suffocating my chest. Emily's tears spilled over. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean for you to find out like this." The words hit me like a slap. I stared at her, stunned. So she wasn't denying it. She wasn't protesting. She wasn't even fighting. She was apologizing for the timing, not the act. A hollow coldness spread through me. My voice shook. "How long?" She covered her mouth, sobbing once before forcing the answer out. 6 months. The room spun. 6 months. Half a year. While I was making dinner. While I was planning our future. While she was kissing me goodnight. My knees nearly buckled. Mark exhaled shakily. "James, man!" "Don't call me that." Emily stepped closer. Please don't make a scene." A bitter, humorless laugh escaped me, quiet but sharp enough to cut. "Emily," I whispered, "the scene made itself." Her eyes widened. She knew I meant the photos, the exposure, the public humiliation that was now spiraling out of control even as we stood here. And then, behind Emily's shoulder, I saw people beginning to stare. Whispers, hands covering mouths, phones being lifted. The party atmosphere shifted like a tide receding, leaving behind cold, wet sand. Everything was unraveling. And this was only the beginning. The air around us tightened, thick with whispers and uneasy glances. The glittering lights of the holiday party suddenly felt harsh, almost surgical, exposing every raw edge of my crumbling life. Music still pumped through the speakers, but it no longer matched the atmosphere. It sounded too cheerful, too oblivious, too wrong. I took a slow breath, pulling myself back from the brink of collapse. The tremor in my hands betrayed me. 6 months, I said quietly. Half a year of lying to me in my own home. Emily's face twisted in pain. "I know how it sounds." "It sounds exactly like what it is." Mark stepped forward again, guilt etched deep into his features. "James, let's just go somewhere and talk." Talk. I turned on him, feeling a surge of heat rise in my chest. You were supposed to be my friend. He flinched. You were at our wedding. I continued, my voice sharpening, cracking. You toasted to us. You hugged me. You told me you were grateful for my friendship, and the whole time you were sneaking around behind my back. Emily wiped her tears with shaking hands. It didn't start intentionally. It was a moment that went too far. A moment. My voice dropped. 6 months, Emily. That's not a moment. That's a life you built behind mine. Her lips quivered. I didn't mean to hurt you. A hollow ache thudded in my chest. But you did. The whispers around us grew louder, floating on the wine-soaked air. Someone snapped a photo. Then another. Mark shifted nervously. This isn't the place. No, I said, my voice steadying with a strained calm. This is exactly the place. Because this is where you got caught. Emily shuddered. James, stop. Please. You're scaring me. Good. I thought before I could stop myself. Let her feel something. Let her feel even a fraction of what's ripping me apart. I forced myself to look away from them, needing space before I exploded. My eyes scanned the ballroom. White tablecloths, gleaming glass ornaments, fake snow glittering under the chandeliers. A place meant for celebration, connection, warmth. Now it felt like a morgue. My gaze landed on the giant projector screen used earlier for year-end slides. An idea struck me, dark, unfiltered, instinctive. A revenge impulse flickered in the back of my mind. It would be so easy. Plug my phone in. Mirror the image. Let everyone see. Let them feel the sting of truth as publicly as I did. For a moment, the anger inside me roared, urging me to burn everything down, to make them suffer even a fraction of the humiliation I felt. But then, Emily whispered my name in that familiar, fragile tone. James, please, look at me. Please, please look at me. I did. Her face was wrecked, eyes red, shoulders trembling. She wasn't the polished, composed woman from an hour ago. She was broken, afraid, human. And in that moment, something inside me cracked again, but softer. The truth settled like a stone in water. Revenge wouldn't fix anything. It wouldn't give me closure. It wouldn't give me back the 6 months they stole from me. It would only make me the villain in the story of my own life. I let out a shaking breath. Come with me, I said. Emily nodded quickly, desperate, relieved. Mark took a step too. Not you, I snapped. He stopped dead, jaw clenching. Without another word, I walked toward the side hallway, the one where the photo had been taken. Emily followed silently, her steps small and hesitant. The hallway was dim, quieter, the music muffled into a dull throb behind us. I turned to her. The distance between us felt vast. Tell me everything. My voice trembled. All of it. No softening. No half-truths. If you lied to me now, even once, we're done. She nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. Okay. Her voice cracked as she began. It started after we lost your dad, she said. You shut down. You were grieving, and I didn't know how to help. I felt unwanted, invisible. And Mark, he was there. He listened. He comforted me when I shouldn't have let him. Her hands twisted together helplessly. It was a mistake. The first time was a mistake. And then I kept choosing it, because I was scared to tell you we were falling apart. I felt my breath stutter. So instead of helping us rebuild, I whispered, you burned the foundation. Emily covered her face. I know, and I'm so sorry. I should have told you the truth months ago. I was afraid of losing you. You lost me anyway. She sobbed, shoulders shaking violently. Do you still love him? I asked quietly. Her head snapped up. No, James, I swear to God, I don't. It was something broken inside me, not something real. I stared at her. My heart felt like what's been slipping through fingers. Heavy, messy, impossible to hold. But you love what he gave you, I murmured. Attention, validation, escape. She closed her eyes. That's not love, Emily. That's running. She reached out for my hand, a reflex, a memory of us, but I stepped back, and the gesture hung painfully in the space between us. She swallowed hard. "Do you want me to leave?" I hesitated. Did I? Did I want to end our marriage right here, in the hallway where it had secretly begun to die? Or did I want the truth? The whole truth. The painful truth. A truth we could finally confront instead of living in opposite corners of silent suffering. I exhaled shakily. "Emily, we're going to talk. But not tonight. Not here. Not after everything." My voice steadied. "Tonight, I need space." She nodded, broken. "Okay." I took one more breath and said the words I knew she feared most. "Go home without me." Her chin trembled. "James, please, please don't leave like this." "I'm not leaving," I said softly. "I'm choosing not to destroy us in front of everyone." Her tears fell silently. She whispered, "I'm so sorry," again and again, but apologies couldn't undo 6 months of secrets. She turned and walked away slowly, each step unsteady. I watched her go, my heart dividing itself painful between anger and heartbreak. When she disappeared around the corner, I finally allowed myself to collapse against the wall, sliding down until I was sitting on the cold floor, my breath coming in uneven shudders. The party noise drifted faintly behind me, laughter and music resuming like nothing had happened. But everything had, and nothing would ever be the same. I don't know how long I sat there. Minutes, hours, time blurred. Eventually, someone approached. Mark. He didn't speak at first. He simply leaned against the opposite wall, shoulders hunched, eyes hollow. For the first time since I met him, he didn't look confident. He didn't look charming. He looked like a man who had shattered his own reflection and didn't know how to piece it back together. "James," he said quietly, "I'm sorry." I stared at the floor. "You should be." Silence stretched between us. And then he said something I never expected. "I'm in love with her." My head jerked up. Mark looked sick saying it, ashamed, conflicted, but he didn't look away. "I didn't plan it," he said. "I didn't want it. But it happened. And I don't expect forgiveness or understanding or anything from you. I just needed you to know the truth before the lies twist into something worse." His confession hit me harder than the photos. Emily said she didn't love him. Mark said he loved her. A new fracture carved itself through my chest. "Does she know?" I asked. He shook his head. "No. Will you tell her?" He swallowed. "Only if you walk away." The words hung in the air, heavy, poisonous, honest. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then I stood. "If you love her, then stay away from her. Because loving someone means not destroying their life." Mark's face tightened with shame. I stepped past him without another word. I didn't go back into the party. I didn't say goodbye. I just walked out into the freezing night air, the cold wind slicing across my skin, grounding me. My breath rose in shivering clouds. Christmas lights twinkled across the parking lot, reflected in the glossy asphalt like scattered memories. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring. I didn't know if forgiveness was possible. I didn't know if love could survive a wound this deep. But I knew one thing with absolute clarity. Tonight was the end of who we used to be. Whatever came next would be something new. Broken, maybe. Rebuilt, maybe. But honest, finally honest. And for the first time in 6 months, the truth, however painful, felt like the beginning of something real.